Wacky Wednesday.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Unfiltered, the real deal. No pre-planning, no chingaderas. Straight up from the bill.
Wacky Wednesday.
B-Town's very own.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Wacky Wednesday on a Tuesday. So that makes it even wackier, right? We're doing Wacky Wednesday, which usually goes live on Wednesdays. We're doing it Tuesday, for no other reason than, people have other things to do. So, that it is what it is. But I'd like to welcome anybody who's never come in and you've never seen the show. I do this every Wednesday. Again, even though today's Tuesday, I do this every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. live on Facebook. We talk about anything and everything, and we talk, not just artists. We talk about we talk with anyone. But tonight, man, like I've literally have had the chills since the guy walked up my driveway, man. Somebody that I grew up just admiring and working my ass off just to make enough money to buy a ticket to go to the El Dorado Convention Center in Beeville to go watch, the show band. These guys were just back in the day, Jaime was just an all around artist, man. So with that being said, man, without further ado, my guest tonight on Wacky Wednesday on a Tuesday is none other than the accordion legend himself, Mr. Jaime DeAnda.
Hello there, how you doing? My new song, you ready for it? Hello there, sir. How you doing?
Dang it, boy! There it is. You can put it down.
Oh, you're still holding it too, right?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know. I felt like I was in the studio here.
It
It sounds really nice in there. I mean, the way you have it set up and everything. Congratulations.
You like
really
it?
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
I feel like I'm on stage, really, with all the lights.
So no, man. Like I was saying, Jaime. From the moment that you sent me a text like, hey, bro, I'm on my way. Like I literally sat down. We were just talking in the living room. I sat down and I was like, man, because as you can see, I really thrive the show off. I really love that the show has no format. There's no questions. It's just me and you in front of some bright lights. And we do have some people in the studio watching this evening. Hi, guys. But yeah, man, like, and then you were walking up and I was just like, man, Jaime DeAnda is in my house, bro.
You were nervous. I didn't know where I was driving to. I was saying, we're coming out here and I'm seeing trees and I'm seeing, I see a forest and then I don't see no more houses and what's going on? You're way out
Come on,
here,
Jaime, you're making it sound like I live out in the monte, bro. The IKEA is right here. You could throw a baseball and hit the IKEA right there.
That's right. I thought it looked familiar out here. Nah.
So
you know what? Honestly, at the same time, when you first started talking about the show and everything else, and you said it's going to be, pretty much, let's just go with the flow. Let's there's not. I was waiting like, okay, there going to be any questions we need to know about or how you want to do it. He says, you know what? Nothing. We're going to play it by ear. And that saying is another thing. Play it by ear. My wife always tells me, when you say play it by ear, how do you mean play it by ear? I said, well, if you listen and then you try to hear what you want to play. I had to make up something.
There you go. That's playing it by ear, bro. That's definitely playing it by ear.
But I'm good to hear. I'm glad. Thank you.
No, man. The honor is mine, bro. Definitely, the honor is mine to have a legend in Conjunto Tejano. Dude, I will even say regional Mexican, bro, because you've killed Mexico before. Monterrey loves you. They've been playing your stuff for years and years and years. But I really wanted the people to know who Jaime DeAnda is without the accordion in front of him, without being at a radio station and you calling in trying to win some tickets to the show, or hey Jaime, what's your next show? I mean, we're gonna talk about music, of course, because that's in your DNA, bro. That's who you are. Definitely, we're gonna be about music. But again, just want to kick some good conversation with you, bro, and really the people to get to know a little bit about who Jaime DeAnda is behind the accordion, bro.
Well, one of the things that I really like doing is I like cooking, and when I say that, a lot of my fans are, oh man, so you barbecue and this and that. I'm like, you know what? I cannot barbecue outside. I cannot keep a fire going. I don't know why. It's the hardest thing to do.
You don't barbecue?
No, I'm propane type or barbecue.
Oh, time out. Wait a minute. You already lost me. You sound like my brothers already. Because now the thing is not propane no more. The thing is what do they call them? The pellet grills. So you set it and forget it.
You heard that?
You set it and forget it, and
it.
it gives you the smoke ring, and it does all the stuff that used to take time to perfect your fire.
But you're out there sweating, and mosquitoes fighting with flies and everything, and you know how I know I can't keep a fire going, because when the winter hit over here, this not too long ago, it was hard to even keep the fireplace going. My wife's like, let me do it. All kinds of branches. And
it's funny you say that, Jaime, because I had some friends call me that have fireplaces, and they lived there for a year or so. And I'm not going to mention no names because they're on their way to Chicago right now. Shout out to my boy Hector Feliciano. So he called, and his wife's like, yo, if you want to start a fire, you better call Bumper, man, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're from the city. You don't know how to start a... And so he was trying to use the fireplace, but they'd never used it before.
Did he open up the chimney?
Well, yeah, he opened up the chimney.
Yeah.
The chimney.
Hey, there you go, chimney.
So, but yeah, he opened up the thing, and he got it going. But his wife's like, I just don't want my house to smell like mesquite, right? Yeah. And dude, that was one of the. Water was gone, fire logs were gone. So it's bringing up the cold, dude. We talked a little bit about it. How did you and the family? Did you guys lose electricity or water or anything?
Man, I thought we were going to be the snowman family because we were freezing. It was really bad. I mean, I guess the fire was good for a while, but to keep it going. And then we thought about buying some more logs, and we're like, we'll go tomorrow. We'll go. And then tomorrow turned into like $27 for logs now, $28 to buy the logs now. The prices jumped like crazy.
They were price gouging their madre.
They were, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I told my wife, I said, look, they got, you know what, let's look around. I saw it there at Walgreens or somewhere, and it said like $27. I told her, wow. I said, we usually pay like, $8-10 or $12, for that. And I said, maybe we'll find some later on. So we waited later. That was it. We should at least bought that once, because I was taking branches from outside, from the bushes. I mean, the garden doesn't look like it used to look, but don't tell the landlord never been on the way. But you have to survive somehow, and you felt like, this is a good lesson, again, besides what we're going through with the COVID and everything else. It's another, I guess,
life lesson.
Yeah, history. Yeah, life lesson where we can realize and appreciate the things we have, and we forget about it because we're so spoiled. We have everything, with electricity and water running. And I said, you know what? Now this is how the cowboys went through. Back in the days where they had to look for water.
Shit,
they couldn't even take a shower.
Hey, Jaime, it's not. You can't go back to as far as cowboys. I promise you, there's some people that have gone in this within 5 years without electricity or water, bro.
I know. But it was something. It was one heck of an experience to say that it was a challenge, and it was a challenge for all of us to realize, how we're gonna, we had like 4 or 5 blankets, and my wife's like, she's saying, I don't feel my toes,
bro.
I told her, I told you we need to buy more wood, toe.
Wow. No, it was cold, and Jaime, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people realize that, we take a lot of things for granted, bro. That was for sure. And people up north were laughing. So if I got viewers watching from outside the state of Texas, and you were looking in on us and being like, "Come on, bro, it's only," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you guys live that. It's like us laughing at you when you're dying it because it's 90 degrees outside,
exactly,
and we're like, okay, we can stand outside in our head at 90 degrees. You know what I mean? So it's different. We don't know how to drive in snow. We don't know how to drive in ice.
Tell me about it.
We don't have the city of San Antonio doesn't have what do you call those?
The sands they put out there, they put those sands. I think they throw sands out
salt.
the freeway. Salt.
Salt.
Yeah, salt.
It's salt.
Yeah.
They didn't have that, man.
Are you kidding me? That's what my wife said. People from New York and Colorado are laughing at Texas right now. They're looking at, oh, come on, that's not cold. We're freezing to death over here, and
bro,
we're not used to it. And what are we gonna do? It says, do you have a friend from New York to ask him for advice?
No, yeah. Hey, my daughter lives in upstate New York, and she was calling, and she was like, "Dad, come on, it ain't that bad." And I showed her the temperature where she was at. It was like 18 degrees, and that was a day that it was like 9 degrees here. So she was like, "Oh, you guys are colder in South Texas than you are up here in upstate New York."
We're not used to it.
But no, definitely San Antonio and South Texas, man. It was pretty rough. It was a rough a whole rough week for everybody. Jaime, you without revealing your age, right? Because like I told you, I was trying to figure out how old you were by going back and looking up some of your first music and some of the groups. I think you were with your dad. Right, your dad started you into the music business a little bit, and I gave up, bro. I couldn't figure it out. But where are you originally from? Are you originally here from San Antonio or no?
No, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Yeah, Houston.
Well, hey, Houston's a big city, bro.
I know.
So what neighborhood do you claim?
North Side.
North Side.
Over there by 59, Little York, Hopper, Bennington, Cross Timbers, Lark Copy, all that territory. Well, see, my dad was a mechanic also for trade. During the week, he was a mechanic. And next door, my uncle, which is my dad's brother, he had a mobile gas station. So at a young age, my dad started, I should have never said I wanted a toy. Oh, you want a toy? Yeah, let me show you how you get a toy. You got to work first.
Wow.
But I would hang out with my dad, at the shop every morning. And from like 7 in the morning, he'd be there till 7 at night. And I knew the routine. Once we get there, the tools out, everything ready for the shop, for the cars. And he had cars parked out there already in line that the customers knew him very well because he knew, back then to work on a car wasn't as hard as today.
Right, and I didn't have all the electronics and shit that we have now.
So, and then if it was slow on my dad, I'd notice he would tell me, "Oh, you know what? Vete con tu tío." I'd go with my uncle, and here I am, like 6, 7 years old. I would be with my uncle, and my uncle would teach me how to put gas, and he'd say, "Hey, come on, he'd give me a block of ice and put it in this machine. It would crush it and bag it in back in the days. And then he started showing me a little bit how to change flats and how to change oil in a car. And I used to love to hear the cars pull up, hear the bell, ding, ding.
Oh, Car's here.
Yeah.
Car's here.
A car's here, go out there. And, the gas. I told my wife, I remember how far back there, I think the gas was like, I want to say like 60 cents a gallon, way back.
That's cheap. It ain't 60 cents for sure.
No way.
What was I gonna tell you? You growing up there in Houston, man, like I said, that's a big city. I not that I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't like Houston. And I don't like Houston because it's too big. Like San Antonio is big enough that you can like get around. Like if you want to go somewhere, you can just get on the highway.
San Antonio is like a big little city.
Yes.
That's what I like about it. That's why I moved here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Houston, though?
Oh, my God.
Shit, man. To go somewhere, you got to plan, like, your whole day.
You look if you do 2 errands. The traffic is bad, too. I know. I was there all my, pretty much 20-something years. I lived there. And when I decided to, I followed my dad because on the weekends, my dad and his compadres, they had like a little local band there. They would play in a lot of house parties and stuff. And they would play in a lot of bars and stuff. And my mom had me always hanging out with them. So I hung out with my dad a lot. And
hey, was that on purpose?
I don't know, but I think she was trying to get rid of me or keep an eye on him.
That's what I mean. I mean, hey, vete con tu papá. That was just to watch you.
You know, so at the same time, you know, you're sitting there and they would play like from 7 till 2 o'clock in the mornings a lot of times. And of course, through so many years of hearing, you know, you think, you know, like the other little kids that you're sitting there and you're listening for a while after a while, then you start getting sleepy and sitting on the chair, but you're still listening to the music so much. So I would hear a lot of, you know, back then there was only 3 instruments though. You only had a bajo player, accordion player, and a drummer. There was no bass player back then. So when I was following my dad and listening
that's
to
traditional
music,
old school conjunto.
Exactly. So when I was following my dad every weekend I heard the music and heard it. Before you know it, you know, you start picking up something, you know, I started following, I was playing, you know, on the tables and, you know, hitting stuff. And then, and the shop, my dad's shop, you know, I had 2 steel rods. He had all kinds of car parts there. So I had 2 steel rods. My dad had a fan, phone, everything else. So I would listen to the radio, AM radio back then. And I would be hitting, you know, he'd walk in, he'd see me hitting the phone, hitting the fan, everything. My dad finally thought, you know, let's buy him some drums before he beats up everything up and breaks everything here in the office and stuff. So I guess he got the message, you know. And we bought my first Ludwig. It was a 5-piece drum set, small set, you know. And there's a picture. I don't know if I sent it.
Yeah, you did. I didn't. That one I didn't upload, but you did send a picture of you in front of the drums there.
Yeah, so I was playing, you know, practicing at home a lot. I would, you know, just following the radio and listening to their songs. And when I would remember, they would play every weekend, so I would like to hear the polkas and stuff and wapangos. So I would listen to everything and playing and following. And one time they came to practice at home. Well, when they came to home and practice, their drummer didn't show up, you know, and we were in the garage, and my dad tells his compadre, was Chema Sanchez, he goes, pues aquí está mijo, and he's looking at me like, what? Pues aquí está mijo, why don't we try him out? He's been playing out, sí sabe tocar. De veras? Says, yeah, no, he does. I said, well, let's see. So they started playing the polka, and I started following them. And then he said, well, let's play wapango. And I remember how to play a little bit of wapango. And then how about a little bolero? And I remember how they would play. And he's looking at me, and he says, no, he's hired. And I thought, am I going to get paid? Because, you know, when you're
they're going to pay you in Big Red, Dr. Pepper, bubble gum. What were they going to pay you with, man?
No kidding. So 7 years old, you know, I started playing with them, you know, in the bars and stuff, and you know, a lot of family parties and stuff. And it was exciting at the beginning because it was drums that I didn't know that I had some hidden talent. So I would follow and I was listening. Yeah. But after a while that you're playing and all these things, my mom was the roadie. She set up my drums. She unloaded them. She was you know, she took care of everything. Yeah, she did everything. So she would set up everything, and here I am playing. But here I am playing songs. We're playing. I'm looking at all the kids running around and on the swings and playing. And I'm looking at, hey, Dad, I want to go play.
No. Yeah. I bought you drums. We're gonna put them drums to use. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, and we played. And I had to wait till the break time. You know, when they had a break, and I thought, 30-minute break we had. So I'd go out there and be in the swings and playing around with the kids, this and that, and you better not get dirty and this that because you got to go back on. So we played during the daytime at house parties on Saturdays, and then in the evening at night we go to these bars and play at the clubs. Well, you know, the bars said. I remember Luna Lounge, Copacabana. There was called.
And these were all local little spots there in Houston.
Yeah. Oh man.
So Jaime, with that being said, like your dad kind of brought you into the music business, and you know, I have a viewer right now. He checks in every week. He said Okinawa. So you got somebody watching from Japan right now. Oh yeah. From Okinawa.
Don't tell me. I got a fan out there. You've heard of the.
Los Japones, the gato, el gato, yeah, they're legends, bro.
Awesome,
yeah, they're awesome. But you know, we got people watching from everywhere, and we were kind of talking a little bit off camera about how much I really enjoy the history. I love history. Period. I love our culture. Not that I don't love other people's culture, but I can honestly say that I'm in love with our culture. I mean, just this weekend, shout out to the Acevedo family. We got invited to a 1 year's birthday party. And, you know, for most Americans, a 1 year birthday party, you know, you come over with the other babies and you leave gifts and maybe a couple of games, a cake, and, you know, you go home, maybe some hot dogs or something, right? No, These guys had carne asada, rice, beans. They had DJ. Shout out to DJ Lucky J. They had him out there, and they literally paid the kid for 6 hours of music for a 1-year birthday party. Wow. So again, I love how our culture loves to celebrate, and we could celebrate anything.
That's right.
But what I'm getting at is that I really love the history. Right, we have Texas history. I always say this in my shows. I really get upset that they don't really teach Chicano or Mexican history. Tex-Mex. None of that is taught in regular education. But going to music, music has a history. Conjunto has a history. Conjunto. When I think of Conjunto, my eyes is a small cantina with an old lady working behind the bar, working as fast as she can, and some old man with 2 shirts, 2 buttons unbuttoned all the way open, probably a guavallera, right? A guavallera, Stacy Adams, a nice little lowrider hat or a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, right? That's kind of. I don't want to stereotype us, but that's my picture that I'm trying to paint here. And when I think of Conjunto music, that's what I think of. I think of like tagging. My dad worked for Budweiser for over 30 years in Beeville. So I've been to all to Goliath, to Kennedy, to Carn City, to George West, to Three Rivers, to all the festivals, all the and you played in almost every one of those places at some time in your career, right? But when I think of Conjunto music, I think of those cantinas, man. It really takes me back to the smoke. You know what I mean? When people used to be able to smoke inside a cantina and you could barely breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
That's what Conjunto music to me. That's the nostalgia that it brings to me when I think about it, that's right? And it's old school. It's like classic. You know what I mean? And from that kind of evolved Tejano a little bit. The synthesizers came in, the big bands, 13 people in an orchestra, you know what I'm saying? And people singing. But what you just said just makes me feel it's so crazy that bands were playing with 10, 15 people. And you just told me, hey, we just need 3 people, bro. Bajo sexto, accordion, and drums. Let's go.
That's it.
So what's your take on Conjunto history or Tejano history? Are you a big fan of it, or are you like is that something you really like to talk about?
Sure. I back then we were growing up, we had to be one of the youngest family Conjunto bands around at the time, and not realizing that we were doing something that was going to be magical, we didn't even know it was going to be making a career out of it, or not even realizing how many young students or how many young kids out there that were never interested in this kind of music back then. Because, when we played it, you hardly see any kids that were interested in our kind of music. Because when we started our band, when my cousin started getting involved with us, practicing around at home, playing around. So David DeAnda, that's exactly right. And my
Excelencia.
Nephew, and my nephew Ruben DeAnda Martinez, my nephew, we all started playing with the instruments at home and messing around with it a lot, and realizing that we were making something. We were making noise, and I was learning the accordion, and I loved the accordion because I told my dad when I played the drums for up to the age of about 12, 13, that's when I told my dad. I said, "No, I'm tired of playing drums. I want to learn the accordion. I love the way it sounds. I love hearing the polkas." And so my dad would tell me, "Well, before I buy you one, show me you can play it." So I would go to my dad's compadre every day and learn the polka. And my first polka, I remember that I learned it was a Totonitco polka from Tony La Rosa. And I said, man, I learned it. So I was playing it, and I learned it in like 3 or 4 days. I played it every day. When it was time to play for my dad, I said, look, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to buy me the accordion. Listen, let me hear you. So I played the polka and everything. And he goes, okay. So learn another one. But you said for me to learn the polka. You're going to give me an accordion. You think because you showed me one polka, I'm going to buy an accordion right now? No. So I had to learn, a couple of songs, and didn't realize, you can tell sometimes, when a person has it in their blood or has that talent to come out. And, through all these years, when you're growing up, you're not paying attention like today. I only say that today because I have a lot of students. I'm teaching accordion, I'm giving accordion lessons to a lot of students. So it made me realize back then how hard it was, how difficult it could be, to learn an instrument. Because, we had cassettes. We had to rewind them and listen and, rewind them and listen to the album and go back and listen to it very carefully. And it was really hard back then to really keep up with it and to take it serious and to realize, wow, our family started, my dad thought, well, let's see what we can do. So we were playing at house parties. But then we had a man that would sing for us because my dad would say, well, y'all don't sing Spanish, right? Well, Dad, you never taught us Spanish because you didn't want us to know what y'all were sayall number one.
Yeah.
If y'all were getting after us. That was a tradition thing. So my dad was like, well, now y'all need to learn this and that. So we're here, listening to albums back then and trying to learn Spanish. And
so let me get this right. I mean, you learned Spanish through music.
Yeah. Honestly, sure did. That was another blessing.
Bro,
I didn't believe it.
You know what's crazy is that me growing up, the only time that we really had to speak Spanish, and even then we really didn't have to, was our grandparents or my great grandma, just because it was out of respect, right?
Yeah.
But they understood. They understood English. You know what I mean? But you just rather them be comfortable in their own language and speak Spanish. But through music, man, through my love of music, that's how I learned Spanish, right? To an extent. But then you sing and you learn the songs and you sing, and then your parents say, hey, you like that song? I'm like, yeah, I love that song, Mom. It's awesome. Do you know what you're singing?
Exactly. No.
No, but I know what I know what it is. I know what it's.
I know what it's not.
I know every word. I know every lyric. I know all the lyrics. But
and it's crazy. But you're learning Spanish. You're following. You're singing along with it, and you're saying all these words, and you're saying words that you never said before. But through hearing it so much, it's also giving us that feel of wow. Look how nice our culture is. Look how now we're taking more interest into our culture and realizing that, yeah, we're Mexicans. Oh, they figured we'd already know Spanish. But, yeah, we grew up in Houston. It was mostly English. Everybody spoke. You couldn't speak Spanish in school.
Because you get frowned upon.
Exactly.
You get in trouble and get frowned upon.
So I didn't worry about that because I didn't speak Spanish. So at the same time, it was. We built our band together as a family. And our first name, honestly, was called Las Estrellas de Houston. That was our first name as a family. You see, so we started, playing a lot more and a lot of
Las Estrellas
de Houston.
De Houston.
Yeah, that was our first name. And to get the name Chamacos from my dad, well, we went to go record our first 8-track. I have an 8-track I recorded. We did it. So when we went to the studio, we were all inside and we were setting up everything, and my dad was talking to the engineer and I guess the Agapito Zuniga, I want to say, somebody he was talking to, and they were like, oh, pues mira que, pues estos quién son, the man happened to just ask my dad, and my dad just said, oh, estos son mis chamacos. That's what he said to the man. So we were recording these songs, La Buena Tuerta, El Chubasco. We did I'm trying to remember the songs in that 8-track. But we did like 10 of them. And when we finished the recording, my dad said, no, we're going to change the name down. I said, what? We're going to change the name down. He looked at it and says, look, this man he's right. He says, we're going to be called Los Chamacos de Raúl de Anda. And that's when it changed. That's when the first time we got the title of the name, Los Chamacos de Raúl de Anda.
You say chamacos, you know what? And you know what word comes to my mind is over here they use a lot is huercos.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I tengo muchos huercos. I went to California, dude. And I used that word one time, and all these people looked at me like, "What did you say?" I said, "Yeah, tengo 8 huercos. Ahí los tiene ahí en la calle, And they were like, "Huercos."
Yeah.
Hey, bro, do you know what huercos are? I said,
"See, in different."
They're kids. They're like, "No, that's a like a what do you call it, kid? A foster kid or like a kid with, you know what I mean?
Orphanage?
Like an orphan, you know what I mean?" And I was like,
didn't realize that.
Hey, I didn't know that's what and down here in Texas, bro, we got our own Wachando and, shout out to my boy, Rock and Roll James right here. He's having his tetera Tuesday day. Look, I'm still supporting his show, even though I'm doing my own right now. But yeah, he uses all those words, bro. It's pretty funny.
And at the same time, when we were, forming our band and learning about, learning a lot of songs and studying, I listened to, back then I heard of, Dona Rosa, Mingo Saldivar, Ruben Bella, I've heard of course, Flaco Jimenez, one of the greats that I was always admired also. And then then I started getting into Juan Villarreal from Los Cachorros, man, fantastic accordion player. He's a master. Then, I got into Ramon Ayala style a little bit. But, man, when I heard Steve Jordan, he blew me away. I mean, he simply blew me away by his ideas and what he would come up with. And I think, how did he come up with these ideas? What,
He's the guy with the eye patch, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would think, how did he come up with these, arrangements and stuff? Because then I started understanding about arrangements, about using them in songs and changing ideas. And, the Conjunto was just, when you talked about Conjunto, all you heard was, oh, yeah, that's all that's all you heard, So, we started thinking about, I started hearing so many different accordion players and stuff. And Steve Jordan really blew my mind because I thought, oh, wow, we can be crazy or a little bit creative.
A little bit different.
But my dad would be, hey, what are you doing? Hey, hold on, don't mess with that.
He's old school.
Right. Watch what you're doing with the music, and you cannot disgrace it or like
change it. You can't. Who are you to change it?
Exactly. Yeah. So it was like, well, we're experimenting, really. Not realizing. So, well, just let us, try to do. We want to get the young kids to listen. How are they going to listen? Is to do something crazy or something to grab their attention, and that was it because. But he said, no matter what you do, a lot of the songs do not mess with them where they're going to be
where you're changing disrespected. Yeah, I got you. And Jaime, what's so cool about your career, bro? And I've seen a lot of interviews that you've done, and I don't think that people touch enough on this. You literally started from original, old school, traditional conjunto music, the three people that you talked about, right? You started in that realm, and just like you just said, without disrespecting the music, you took that old school music and you started making your own, right? You started making it your own and shaping it the way, Can I say the name, the old school name or no?
What's it?
Chamacos, right?
Yeah, I just said it.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Hey, so we'll talk about that. So you what I love to see is as I was growing up and seeing you guys perform, you guys were evolving the same way other music was evolving, right? So in the English market, right? The clothes you guys wear, the showmanship, right? I mean, it went from being in a smoky cantina with 3 people. Now you're having 4 or 5 people in your band, right? You're wearing some freaking knee-high leather boots, metal caps with the metal thing. Like, hey, that, Janet Jackson brought that. Wow. Janet Jackson and they did all those videos. Shit, Jaime he was the first Chicano, first people to bring that kind of. People were like, yo, you got Maz, you got La Mafia. They had the big bands and they had the shiny things, but Jaime brought the. You didn't. Tejano was kind of not new. I'm not gonna say it was new, but that style was new, right? You took Conjunto. What I'm trying to say, you took Conjunto and you made it yours, and you changed it to what we know today, right? Like I said, with your outfits, your shows, it wasn't boring. Like you weren't just going to a show and gonna be like, hey, bro, there's those 5 guys, and there it is. Oh, I love that song. Let's take a shot. You know what I mean? It was like. People going to the stage and it was like, yo, Jaime just took that goddamn accordion and put it behind his back and was playing, you know what I'm saying? To us, it was a show, bro. Like we were getting what we paid for. And I could just, did your dad ever see, how do I put it? Did your dad ever see you perform that way?
Yeah, he got to see a lot of that stuff. And I think really what helped a lot about that is at the time when I was growing up also, I loved to dance, you see.
Ya salió el Houston.
Yeah.
Ya salió
oh my God. Matamoros ballroom days, I used to dance out there with my sisters and my cousins and everybody. Uh-huh. But I would dance no matter what. If it was a wapango, chotis, redoba, I wanted to learn how to dance them all because I loved to dance. And I loved it, spinning around. And my sister, we could spin real fast and do turns and all these things. And to try to do that on stage with the accordion was another thing. Because, well, it wasn't easy, of course. You know, I did a lot of practice at home, and I thought, let's try this. Let's move around. Let's make the conjunto exciting. You know, I mean, let's give it something like a twist in it to where the young people can say, "What the heck's going on?" Even if to get the older people to still respect us, yeah, you have to still remain. Some of your songs keep it traditional and what's going on. But some of the stuff we would do with some dancing steps and picking up the accordion, making it like a little show and stuff. Boy, that took a lot of practice, man. Even picking it up.
So I was going to ask you. So the little thing that y'all used to do, that wasn't just something y'all just picked up in sound check. Like that was something y'all had to.
We had to work at.
Yeah, to work at it. Practice.
We had to really work at it and. You know, get our steps together, when to do some moves and when to do the accents and when to do a spin or think. And believe me, at home, I felt a lot on the floor. I tried to get up and I'd mess up playing the accordion at the same time. And sometimes I felt like, God, no, I don't know if I can do this. And we're like, oh, we kept thinking, no, but it's fun, though, because it's different. You know, It's exciting because not realizing that we were going to create something new or we're doing something different. We're adding to, to make it exciting. But I thought it was a challenge. That's the word right there.
There you go.
It was such a challenge to try something new, to add something to our music, to make it exciting where now, you know what? You can be a conjunto show band. And that's why I think Mr. Johnny Canales, when we started back in his TV show, when he started doing his thing, we already been around for so long. I mean, I've already recorded albums and stuff with my cousin. And from that generation, I went on to the Juan P. generation, and we did a lot of stuff because he liked to dance.
Bro, you
too.
had in your era, you have legendary, again, history. You had legendary bajo sextos players with you.
They didn't even know they were bajo sexto players. You know, they've learned a lot here because they were given an opportunity to explore. You know,
to get out of the realm of the boom boom boom.
You know, whatever talent they had too. You know, I tell them, bring it to the table. Let's see what we can do. Okay, whatever you can. I would be open minded with everybody because it's about, if all our heads are together in the right track, man, this could be big. This could be, something so different and something so new for the next generation to see or to like, or who knows. We might be able to record with a good label and maybe not only play in Houston now. Even back then with my cousin. From Houston, we started, I always say 1979. The people that are fans are saying, okay, Jaime, what happened? You did a fan page called Jaime DeAnda of 1979. Why the year? Were you born in 1979? Well, no, but,
Yeah, when you sent me an email, I saw Jaime DeAnda I'm not going to say right? So, he sent me an email. I was like, I sat there in my chest like, hold up, man. Ain't no way this dude was born in 79.
But the reason why I used the year 79, because that was the breaking market for us. Me and my cousin David DeAnda, we came out with a song called, we were the first ones, and I did the music for it, Un Puño de Tierra. It's on a 45, recorded in 1979.
So Un Puño de Tierra
is my music.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Don't fast forward on me. Un Puño de Tierra was recorded by...
That's what everybody knows today. Ramon even told me.
Who did it first?
I did, 79.
Yo, this is a first... I'm learning... I'm just telling you how much I love history now, and I'm getting schooled right now. So, Un Puño de Tierra...
Back in 1979.
Can you sing it and jam it for us or no?
Sure, of course. I've recorded since then. But you know what's crazy, though? When me and Ramon, we did a tour back in Chicago days, in the 80s, we were on tour a lot, And he told me himself, he goes, Jaime, voy a grabar la canción Un Puño de Tierra igualito como tú lo grabaste. And nobody was here to hear it, and there was no recording to have proof that he said that, and I'm like, golly. But if you look for it, it's on a 45. I have it.
So there you guys, right now on Bumpers Wacky Wednesday on a Tuesday, right? On a Tuesday. There's a song like that, right?
Only on a Tuesday.
Yeah, on a Tuesday. Un Puño de Tierra is a song embedded into every single... I mean, even if you don't listen to music, everybody's heard that song, right? In the military, I'm going to tell you before you play it, right? Are you going to sing? You going to sing too, right?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I might, yeah.
Okay. So check it out. And you probably heard these stories a million times, right? But that is one song that no matter what race you are, where you come from, in the military, they know when that song starts.
Man, you know.
They know gritos are coming.
Yep.
They know shots are coming. And it's crazy because as soon as they hear it, it's like, oh man, the Mexicans are at it again, bro. They try to find wherever the party's coming from, and that starts the party. So with that being said, something I just learned today, Jaime DeAnda is the chamacos. They're the originators of this song before the legendary Ramon Ayala recorded it as well and made it a huge hit.
Yeah.
So without further ado, right here, Un Puño de Tierra.
Va dando paso a la vida, nomás recorriendo el mundo. Si quieren que se los digan, yo soy un alma sin dueño. A mí no me falta nada. Para mí la vida es un sueño. Yo tomo cuando yo quiero, no miento, soy muy sincero. Y soy como las gaviotas volando de puerto en puerto. Yo sé que la vida es corta, al fin que también la debo. El día que yo me muera, no voy a llevarme nada. Hay que darle gusto al gusto. La vida pronto se acaba. Lo que pasó en este mundo, nomás el recuerdo queda. Ya muerto voy a llevarme. No más un puño de tierra. $1979.
Wow. Hey, on here right now, Jimmy Lee, Aguijo.
Yeah, Mr. Jimmy.
Yeah, he's like, hey, he manda saludos, and he's like, hey, let me go sing segunda ahorita de volar.
He'll do it, man. That's another. Thank you, Jimmy, for checking us out.
Yeah,
another great artist, another great man.
Shout out to Jimmy Lee y Tentacion, man. They're from Beeville.
Yep.
But I mean, like that song, bro. Really, man, you made my night, bro. Like I had no idea that song. I mean, I've heard you sing it. I've heard you sing it, but I always thought that it was in homage to Ramon Ayala. But here we are right now in the Wacky Wednesday on a Tuesday studio, right? You just told me that was you. That's
my music. I created, and you know it's.
Do you get the royalties to it?
That's what I was gonna tell you. You know, it's like my son also, Jeremiah, is watching the series of New Edition and stuff, and looking at their history and things they've gone through, and my wife was like, "Wow, I can't believe it." I says, "Well, you kind of experienced some of that stuff with me because I've gone through a lot of things. I've gone through a lot of record labels and record companies, and at the time when you're young and you're not in really business wise about it.
You're not business mindset.
Yeah, you're not even thinking of the future, about royalties, about mechanical rights and stuff. And and I can go on, but you know, you learn the hard way, and you miss out, and because you know, at the time that we were growing up, you know, my brother was my manager at the time. He wasn't within being a business manager and understanding the entertainment field.
He didn't know that song was going to be what it is, and it would bring you royalties for the rest of your life.
Sure, with my dad and everybody, especially my dad and them, they didn't read. You know, my dad only went to the 3rd grade because they had to work more. You know, back in the days, it's about providing food on the table than education. You know, back then, so it was really tough to realize that, God, how we missed out on a lot of things, and you know, people think at the beginning, people say, oh wow, you know, when you're on TV, they think, oh, you're a star, you're rich, you have all these things. Hey, we're just like everybody else, you know, learning the hard way at the beginning.
It's called life.
Yeah, it's called life. Suffering to understand life. But you know, the beauty of it is the blood, is the excitement. You know what you're doing, you're experiencing.
Right.
You know, you're doing something for the next generations to without realizing it, but you're making something, creating something. Bringing something to the table that kids would never get involved with, probably, because up to today, I mean, for so many years, all these bands, every band that's been out there, I've talked to, I know them all, you know, Intocable, you know, Desperados, I know, Los Palominos, every band, they were kids when they went to go see me, and they would all tell me, all of them, man, you remember we used to go see, we used to stand and watch it, sound check, Intocable and them, they used to always go see us in sound check a lot of times, and I remember seeing them there, and they're like, man, it's you. I mean, you really did it, man. You guys really did something. The Conjunto made us all get involved and wanted to grow up and learn. You know,
do you ever, I mean, I really want, I know it's easy for you to say it, but I want you to just stop and really think about that. Like, what you're saying is, for me, it's powerful, right? What you're saying is a group like Intocable, how they have just, they're out of this world as far as, you know what I mean? Like, those guys have taken music to a whole nother level. But to know that you in a sense were their idol, how does, like, do you just like, hey, that's me, bro? Like, hey, that's like, I mean, to stop and think, Jaime, that's big time, bro. That's big time.
I guess I really got to admire and realize when teachers are teaching their students, you know, and students, look what they become. Some of them become presidents, you know, vice presidents, congressmen, you know, look what teachers are teaching them, you know, and to see that and to realize who's going to really be somebody or do something with it. And when I used to hear them and see them and see them at our place, in our sound checks, you know, who would have imagined what would they be today? And sure, you know, I give up props to every musician out there that really went at it and gave it all they could and still and be who they are today. And everybody realizes that some make it and some don't. Some survive. And some are scared.
Don't.
And some are scared to survive because the sacrifices that you make during those years is the hardest part. And the hardest thing, too, is to find now.
But people don't see that, though, man. They don't know that you guys are amazing. They think it's all the lights, the fog machines, the lights, the big buses. Yeah. And, hey, you're going to go have a steak after every dinner. And, you know, you're going to party like rock stars until the next show on the next night. My buddy, shout out to my boy, Cool Breeze, Lenny Landin. He put it one word. And to me, that word is, I'm going to actually put it on the thing. It's simple. It's simple, powerful, pioneer.
Wow.
That's you. Yeah. You're a pioneer to the music, bro. You are a pioneer to so many people who looked up to you as a musician and learning and whatnot. And here you are, you know what I'm saying? You're still around. And those guys have grown up, right? They've grown up. But definitely hey Lenny, that's a good point there. He is a pioneer.
Thank you so much. But you know, all this is nice to know that, you know, that that's why I say today, you know, education, of course, is very important to have. You know, you need to have that education. You need to know what's going on out there. And a lot of us didn't know back then growing up because of our family's tradition. You know, my families were hard workers. It was food first before you thought about education.
Right.
Today, we've learned so much and important because it's not the same as back then. Today, hey, you want to be somebody, you got to learn. You got to have an education. You know, you want to be in sports, hey, they want you to be smart too. You know, even though, I don't care if you want to be a basketball player, all these guys, you know, we tell our kids, you know, look, yeah, well, I want to be a football player, you know, a famous one, or a basketball player. But look how long it took them. Look what they worked for. Look how they study.
Yeah.
Look how they have to work hard and sacrifice.
They just football players. They just see them on Sundays. They don't see them in the gym. No. They don't see them eating ugly, nasty protein shakes. Yeah. They don't see them, you know, doing it. It's anything, bro. Anything you got to put discipline. Work. You gotta practice until you. What did somebody say the other day on the Edward Garza from Michael Salgado said you have to practice until you don't get it wrong. I think something like that he said, like, that's anything you do, you got to practice, not till you get it right. You got to practice until you don't get it wrong.
That's right.
And so,
and that's the hardest thing to do, because you don't want to make a mistake. Because, you know, when you're performing, everybody sees your mistakes. Nobody sees the good you do. And man, it's true. I mean,
you can do 100. You can do 100 good things.
Yeah.
I tell my kids that all the time. You can do 100 good things. You fill up a barrel with 100 good things, right? Mm-hmm. The minute you punch a hole in that barrel with that bad thing, all those 100 things go right out the door, and it don't matter. Matter crap what you did.
I give an example, because I was talking to one of my students the other day, and you know, they like to, at first, every class that student that I have, they'll want to talk to me first before they want to start their lessons and stuff. And we'll sit there talking. Before you know it, 15 or 20 minutes might go by, and my wife's looking at me like, hey, remember, you got an hour and a half they're paying for. I said, but it's not me.
They want to talk?
They want to talk first. So here I am going overtime for them because we started 20 minutes late or 30 minutes late, you know.
Right.
But it's interesting because I finally get to communicate with different kids and young kids and today's generation, so it's different. But it's so true that, you know, I gave him one example. I can play at a show. There could be 1,000 people there, you know, and you can have 999 people tell you, man, you're fantastic. You know, you did a great job, great show. And it only takes 1%. I don't know why.
One asshole in the back.
It's all right. You did all right. You know, it sounded all right. You know, you're like, wow.
But you got to know that comes with, you've been around too long. You got to know that comes with the business, bro.
But you know what's good about it, though? The good about it is you want to please 100%. We all do. We want to do 100%
That's
on
true.
stage.
No, you're right.
We want to do 100% on stage. But the point is, you're never going to have that 100%, because that what makes you keep working at it. Keep working at it. Keep working at it. Because you're never going to hit that 100%. No way. So I don't care where.
So we're going to go on a whole different tangent, right? I want to get away just a little bit from music, right? But in the 90s, to me, the late 80s through like maybe 1996, our culture, our music was at the top of its game.
Yep. Right?
I mean, you guys were living rock stars, bro. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without being, you know what I'm saying? That maybe that's looking from the outside in, right? But what I want to ask you is, during that time, what did you do? What did you do, bro, on a Sunday when that bus would roll back in? What was your home back then? Alice?
No, it was
Houston?
It was Houston.
So
you know, I had Johnny Lee Rosas on the bajo sexto then.
Back then?
Yeah.
From Intocable.
Yeah.
Right? So you would roll back in. Bro, what was life like for you when you put the accordion in the box, put it in the bottom of the bus, you pull the bus back into Houston?
We had a school bus.
Okay, well, the school bus. So when you pull in, you get off that bus and be like, man, Sunday night, it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. You pull into Houston. You had a gig Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're finally home. What is? I mean, besides rest, of course, you know you're gonna rest. What was life like for you, dude? Monday through Wednesday.
Man, I was like my dad, very active. You know, either I love to go to games, you know, go to the game room, play games, and get your mind off, or watch a lot of comedy and take your mind away from music for a while. You know, sometimes you have to get away from it to miss it. To be hungry again for it.
To do it, right.
To be hungry for it. You know, a lot of times, and my other brother, my brother he was in the Army, so at the time, he taught me a lot of discipline. I will give him the credit that he taught me a lot about ironing. I mean, he was always...
You had
to iron. Yeah, you had to iron your clothes. You had to iron your pants. You had to shine your boots. You had to keep your shoes shine, you know. And then he'd teach you about, you know, at home, okay, for you want to be soltero, you want to learn? And he'd teach me about cooking. He'd teach me about cleaning, about how to clean the toilets, about bathrooms, and how to wash dishes, and, you know, how to do spring cleaning and vacuuming and all these things. And I'm thinking, there's no maids out there. But it was all old school. But you know what? It was discipline. It was things that we didn't think that were important.
So you were doing these things like even you just played for You just play for 15,000 people at Rosedale Park on a Sunday, right? And you roll back in your bus on Monday, and it's all back to ironing your stuff and getting all your stuff.
Yeah. Wow. He was nonstop. He would always have us doing something or cleaning or learning or and then back then Super Mario came out. Remember Super Mario?
Nintendo.
Man, I would play that game from morning to night.
And who didn't, bro?
Right?
Somebody, I want to say it was maybe Jesse Turner. Somebody on social media the other day, they were doing a video and they were doing like a with another group, and the group was, I think it was a regional Mexican group, and the guy could play Super Mario on the accordion. You saw the thing? That was crazy.
Yeah, and the guy from Salomon, Retoño, the guy Salomon, he's from his dad was the Sotos back in the days. He's a fantastic accordion player like his dad. And he plays it too, he does it. He has a lot of talent too. And that's another thing too. So many accordion players today, listen to him, man. Everybody has, man, it's cool. But one thing I will say, when I was growing up, back in the day, I met Mr. Tony La Rosa. When I met him, for the first time, I thought, man, I was nervous and scared. And I thought, I would stand in front and watch this man play. I was one of the
like it was nobody's business.
Yeah, I was standing and I was studying and I was watching him, and I'd see him play nonstop.
But those are clásicos, Jaime. Yeah. Those men would stand up there and know they're not dancing like Jaime DeAnda. No. They're sitting there just hitting boom,
jamming,
boom.
Man. God, they would hit you right in the heart. The songs and the arrangements, everything they did was just right on point, So I would watch him a lot, and I think, and when one time the show was over, I had the opportunity to meet him, and he had said to me, I said, oh, Mr. Tony, ¿cómo está? Mucho gusto. And he said, oh, amigo, muy bien, ¿sabes qué? Te voy a decir una cosa. And I said, oh, I wonder what he's going to tell me in my mind. He says, tocas muy bonito y de todas maneras me gusta, me encanta como bailas y todo. Eso es muy profesional, pero lo que te falta es tu propio estilo. And I said, what? Es lo que te falta. I said, pero ¿cómo? He says, no te puedo decir, pero si tú le sigues, un día lo vas a ver, lo vas a escuchar. Man, that night I thought, what did he mean by that? My own style, my own signature. How do I do that? What am I gonna? Why? I couldn't.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking more about it, and I said, you know what? I guess back then, if you heard Dona Rosa on the radio, you knew who it was. Remember, you heard it, you knew who it was. I mean, you could distinguish each accordion player they were playing. I went, that's what he means. Okay, how am I going to do that? Because I was playing a little bit of everybody so long. But little by little, I was creating my style without realizing it, because it happened one time where I guess I came up with Pájaro Negro and doing a lot of things with it and made that song interesting from Mr. Mingos Aldiva, the original. And I was at a restaurant.
The Dancing Cowboys?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And I was at a restaurant, and this, I guess they were playing my song in the restaurant, and I could hear somebody say, I guess they didn't know it was there either, but they said, oh, listen, Dad, listen, that's Jaime. Can you tell? That's Jaime on the accordion. Listen to the accordion. I'm thinking, and I'm even listening like, what? Wait a minute, what's he talking about? Maybe he heard a mistake and I didn't catch it or something in the recording, right? But I'm listening to it, and he said, listen to it. Wow, listen to his style. And he said, I wish I could remember who it was exactly, but when he said that, I went, what? I have my signature. He just said it. What is it? I'm thinking, what did I do? What was it?
What, yeah.
But the song he was hearing, I think it was Pájaro Negro. I was listening to it and things that I was doing on it and stuff. And people always would tell me, listen to that. And I thought, man, to this day, I want to thank that man, que paz descanse. That's what he meant. You have to have your own style. And it's the hardest thing to accomplish. Definitely.
But you're right, Jaime. I can not look at my radio or not look at something and hear the accordion, and I know who. For the most part, there's like maybe 5 or 6 people that I'm good at, like you, Johnny from Los Palominos. Like any Palomino song, it has its own like tone, own kind of rhythm. But so Pájaro Negro, it's funny that you say that. People are asking for that song, and you were talking about it.
I recorded the first time in 1980-81 on an album. It's called New Generation. And then that same company was called Discos Diana. And that same company.
Discos Diana.
Yeah, Discos Diana, how they said it. And it was us and La Mafia. They recorded with that same record label. Same record.
La Mafia?
Yeah, we were both on the same record label back in the days, you know. So we all grew up together, you know. I know Oscar, I know Mondo.
Y'all are from the same barrios over there.
Yes, and there's a picture that Mondo found. He sent it to me. He said, "Look, Jaime, look what I found." I had to be 8 years old or something. And my mom and dad always had me in suits and whatever. You remember the Three's Company?
Yes.
Okay, you remember Barney?
Yes.
Okay, I had
Mr.
suits.
Roper?
Yes, Roper. Yes, I had suits like him. Hey.
What do they call those suits? They were made out of polyester suits, bro.
Yeah. I couldn't be
Con la
close to
corbata así, the fluffy.
I couldn't be close to anybody that had a cigarette in their hand because, you know, but that's the way they would always dress me up. And I saw the picture. That's what it reminded me of, you know.
Wow, that's crazy.
I was on there. It was Mondo and it was Speedy. And I think one of their brothers, somebody was on there. That picture, he sent it to me a while back. And I thought, man, look what I found. Jaime, he told me, I says, where'd you find that? I said, I don't know. I was just going through my photos and this and that. And, you know, we talk here and there. And we remember back in the days when we all first started, you know, they were doing their thing. We were doing our thing at the same time. And they were creating something different. You know, the Mafia had their style. And we kept going with it, too. And Mondo would always tell me, too. We used to talk a lot back in the days because it was exciting.
That Mondo's a musical genius, bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
musical genius, bro.
Yeah, you know, we've kept up and talk a lot, and it's nice to have, you know, people like that can still give you the respect, still talk to you and guide you in some times where, you know, you need different advice. You know, you talk to different musicians, and the man is very humble, very down to earth, very professional, and my hat's off to Mr. Mondo. You know, I knew his father, I knew his mom and dad, everybody, you know, his family too, so it was cool knowing that we all were doing something, didn't even realize what it was going to be today.
So Pájaro Negro was the first song that gave Jaime DeAnda in one of his idols' eyes, his own estilo, his own style. So with that being said, right here live in the Wacky Wednesday on a Tuesday studios, Jaime DeAnda,
well, this was, you know,
Pájaro Negro.
The intro. Soy como el pájaro negro. I was just going to give a little piece there because, you know, I was just going to say that was something we did that gave us all excited. You know, even when we play it today, and I had the opportunity of hanging out with Mingo Saldivar, my respected senor, you know, and we'd see each other once in a while here in San Antonio, and down to earth, really good, cool guy. And to see him, I look at his history, how he danced, how he played, how he nonstop. When he went on stage, he gave it 100%.
Bro, the dancing cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you guys are new, if you know Jaime because you know he's got some popular songs and you don't really know a lot of the history, look him up. Look up Mingo Saldivar on YouTube, the dancing cowboy. And before this guy was jumping around with accordions, this dude right here in polyester pants with the shirt halfway open all the way down to the middle of his chest and a cowboy hat with like a 2-inch or 3-inch brim, like a small little hat. The dude's a legend, bro. So again, a big piece of history. Jaime, so one thing that I really want to talk about, and you brought it up. Right before we went on live. And that's when I tell you one of my pet peeves is because I love Tejano music, bro. I love Tejano Conjunto music. It's my passion. That's all I listen to. You ask my kids, my wife, yeah, anybody that knows me, they know that's what I listen to. And so, with that being said, I think that in the 90s, as the music was just at its peak, right? I mean, you had so many artists out there, you had, and of course, and so be it. Like, I'm not going to take nothing away from her, right? But a lot of people, when they hear the word Tejano or Tex-Mex music, whatever, the first thing they're going to say is what?
It's dead.
It's dead, right? It's gone. Like, hey, but one of my things that I love to do is I love to go, if he's playing any group, I go and I see thousands of people singing song after song after song after song, young, old, middle aged. They're all singing the songs word for word. And I like to take my phone and maybe go live on Facebook or just record the video. And it reminds me that, you know what? It's not dead.
No.
It's not dead. It's not, it's not, you're not filling up Rosedale Park with 20,000 people. Like, we understand that. We know that. But I think music is evolving, man. It's constantly evolving. I mean, just look at you. Traditional conjunto, 3 people, to you dancing on the stage with the accordion behind your back. You know what I mean? Bend over backward. You know what I mean? like that was unheard of.
Right.
And so, you said something, and I think you're right. I agree with you. I think that a lot of people counted the Tejano and Conjunto music industry dead when Selena died. I and I'm not to cause any controversy, nothing like that. Simple conversation, right?
Sure.
I really think that people just from that point forward, like, oh, it's gone. She wasn't the only artist. Like people had put in, and not taking nothing away from the Quintanas, like they put in work. I mean, if you've seen the series, they put in. It's like I've always said, like, people didn't know Selena until she was, her 7th or 8th, 9th album. I can play some songs from Selena from her 2nd, 3rd, and 4th album, and people be like, "Who is that?"
Right.
That's Selena, right? But people don't know. They know it after Amor Prohibido and on those albums. So my thing is like, I really think that people, especially our culture, we need to look at it and say, you know what, it's not dead. Just because we don't have that artist, in the mid 90s, that her life was tragically taken. We don't know where her career would have taken her. But it wasn't just one artist, man. Like there was a crap load of art. There is a lot of artists still in the industry, still pounding the pavement. They're still out there. They're still taking their freaking speakers, they're taking their accordions, their bajo sextos, their mics, their mic stands, their lights, they're putting them in trailers, and they're traveling all over the United States. I'm not even going to say South Texas or Texas. They're traveling all over the United States. Right. It's not dead. And that's why I really love to bring artists onto my show, because my show is not just about music. Like, I've done all people of different walks of life, but if I can get an artist, I'm going to do it because I love music, right? So with that said, like, what's your take on that? Like, I want to hear Jaime DeAnda take off. Hey, I'm JDA. I've been doing this shit for a long time. Take that hat off and just be you, right? Be you. And what's your take on that? What's your take on you people thinking that the music is dead and it's not going anywhere and it died in the mid 90s?
Well, first of all, back then all our fans were young. We know that. We had a lot of fans in the 90s that were young and stuff. And I guess one time I heard
that's me.
These families after a while saying, we couldn't go out anymore. We got married, we got kids, we got more responsibilities. Times have changed where they can't get out as often. They're on the budget. You got to watch what you spend because it's different. Now it's a different generation now. What kids are going to still follow it? Hey, a lot of kids didn't follow our parents' tradition. A lot of them, they thought, come on, we don't listen to that kind of music. They make fun of it. Listen to them. So back then in the 90s, when we had all our fans out there, they're telling us today, we're trying to get our kids still back into it, you see? Get them into just to what we followed, what we listened to. And what was nice, too, back then is the parents would say, God, we love what you guys are doing because we can go to the show, take our kids to the show also, and all enjoy the music.
Yeah.
But it changes after a while because, hey, so much changing with with the phones, with electronics, with games and
Social
all this,
media.
everything took away a lot of the traditional old school things that we did together as a family, It has, It's okay to be having all this modern technology, but it's taken also a lot of family time away, a lot of things that we used to do back then that you didn't think they were important. And one of the things was our roots, our music, what we did. And we were trying to get the kids again back into it like now, getting them involved again. And, I see, our Mexicano, our raza de Mexico también, when we go to Monterrey, we think, why are they still, they won't let go. They
hold on to those traditions.
Aprecian la música bastante, con bastante amor y bastante alegría. Y por eso agradezco a la gente por allá de México, porque si le gustan la canción, van a ir a apoyar al grupo bastante. And today, hey, we're spoiled today. Well, we don't have to go here. We can go here. Oh, well, we can wait. Here, San Antonio, it's another free concert. You always hear that. Oh, why go see him here? They'll be playing free at this concert here next time. Hey, you know what?
Hey,
just wait. They'll be playing at a quinceañera soon.
I'm real on the show, Jaime. I'm one of those people sometimes like, yo, Jaime's charging $20 right here at the what's the one that's right here on? I didn't think of the dang thing. The Thirsty Horse or one of those, right?
Yeah,
he's charging $20. Hey, bro. If you wait till Sunday,
Ram Central Station.
Sunday he's playing free at the park or something, right? He's gonna play the same song.
And a lot of our fans caught on. Some of them thought, and then a lot of times we did so many things. We gave back so many times and did so many free concerts and all these things. And what happened? People get burned out. That's another thing. People get burned out.
But you know what, Jaime? I don't think you got definitely not burned out now. Right,
No.
And minus COVID, I'm talking pre-COVID, right? I don't think you guys were burned out.
No, the fans were burned out of going to see him.
Yes, okay,
That's what I mean.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. But you know what? Another part, and I think a lot of it is our just the way we're raised, right? When you hear the music, like, hey, Jaime, play me your new song. I'm not asking you to play. I'm just saying,
No, I got you.
like, give me one of Jaime's new songs. I'm guilty of it too. Like, oh, bro, I don't know. Oh, give me ¿Cómo te llamas, Paloma? Mi música favorita.
Yeah,
old
school.
Paloma Negra. Like,
Paloma Negra, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the songs that I remember, right? And I think as Tejanos or as us, when we go somewhere, hey, play, bro. I don't want to hear. I don't know who that is, bro. Play the old ones. Yeah. So we get stuck in that, bro. We get stuck in the same. You know what I mean? So we don't get no new Jaime DeAndas growing up and they're just born in 2003. They picked up an accordion and now they, we're as a culture, we're not open to new things.
Right.
We're really stuck on, and I think that really doesn't help our.
And even then with the rock bands or anyone, if you go see AC/DC, whatever, any rock band back then, what gets the crowd going when they go back to their old school songs?
Yeah.
No matter what, that's what they want to hear because that's what they grew up with.
Right.
That's what everybody was like, man. That was it, man. You heard this song and it made you go crazy. You remember the things you did, all this stuff. No matter what. And today you hear new songs. Yeah, you're gonna like it, but you're not gonna in love with it like you did back then because it was more. Back then it was more important to you because it's like you're growing with the band at the same time. You see. You're growing up with the band.
I'm learning a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm learning a lot from you tonight. Like. Your mindset and the way you think is a lot of it I think the same, but a lot of it is I never thought about it that way. Like some of the things you say, like I never have like actually sat down and like, oh shit, he's right. Like that's true. You know what I mean? Like you talked about, being in Mexico, people they sit around, they still talk, they eat, the music, you know what I mean? That was our weekends growing up in the 80s and 90s. Like all the families would get together. I was talking about this last week. Like they get together and everybody would show up. It was either a potluck, somebody barbecuing, and what was playing? Conjunto Tejano music was playing in the background, right? Yeah. Like even to this day, I can't go to somebody's house and invite me to a barbecue and show up and I see smoke coming out of the pit and I hear like Aerosmith playing or man, I can't even give you an artist. Beyonce, right? I can't Like it just doesn't go together, bro. You know what I mean? Like
today it does. Today you can hear anything.
Well, maybe it does, but not for me. And I always used to tell I let my kids be. You know, I tell you I got 8 kids, right? So I let my kids be who they're gonna be. That's the hardest thing of parents, letting your kids figure out who they're gonna be. Right. But you want to instill it in them. You want to like, don't forget, this is our music. You better listen to it. You better listen to it. And you know, and what do my age kids? You know what we refer to that music as? On Saturday morning, when you get your ass up early in the morning and you hear that accordion music playing, or on Sundays in South Texas, if you're near Corpus Christi, Domingo Live, and then Johnny Canales right after. That's right. When you would hear that, it was, God damn, we got to get up, and we got to start cleaning because my mom's cleaning the house, right? That's what we know it as. But you know what was great to see as my kids got older? They love it. Or even when they were still here at the house and they would get in their rooms and they would clean. Everybody had their own music, right? You know, they got the Bluetooth speakers and stuff, and you'd hear a old Jaime song, or you know hear Intocable, Ramon, something like that, and you're just like, I'd go back and look at my wife and be like, we did it. Like even if it's just one song, it made as a dad, it made me so proud that. If I did my job, I passed it on. I passed it on. The torch has been passed. Now it's up for them to pass it on. So Jaime, in the 90s, when it was banging, skip that. I want to ask because then I'll forget. You're over 40 years in the music, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
In over 40 years in the music industry, and it don't gotta be a popular one. Right? Some people think, it's just a popular one. And I'm sure you get asked this all the time. What is Jaime DeAnda favorite song? And it's a 2-part question. To play and to sing.
Man. I love playing Pájaro Negro and I love playing Yolanda. I don't know why, but those songs just really hit me in the heart and I love to dance them. Because it gives me more animo to realize the combination of how long and how hard it was to practice and learn and do that and over and to see what attention it got from the public, from not only just locally in San Antonio, Houston, but to see it go beyond, you know?
Yeah.
Beyond like in California and Florida and Chicago and stuff. And then to cross over to Mexico and to hear them even go crazy to play. I used to play in a lot of rodeos back in the day.
Palenques, the big or the big palenques. Yeah.
Oh my God! To hear the crowd there and to see that and to feel like you'd feel like, is this a dream? Are they really enjoying what I'm doing right now? And when you're through, man, you see the fans in line. These fans from Mexico, you can tell they had the love for the music because that's what they were all about.
And they don't make money like we do. And know they're going to go out and spend their hard-earned working money. Not that we don't work hard for our money here, but just to take it into another perspective, right? The little money that they did make, they were out there spending it to hear a kid from the north side of Houston come into Mexico and play it. It's gotta be a great feeling. So Pájaro Negro and Yolanda. So I'm gonna give you a quick story because right now I promise you, there's people watching the show right now and they're like this in my ribs right now. Boom! They're hitting me right because they're like all day like, hey bro, you gonna have him play Yolanda? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, dude, he can't play Yolanda. And the reason why is my ex-wife's name is Yolanda.
Hey, but for many years, I've been asked that. Come on, Jaime. You wrote that song, Yolanda, didn't you? I says, no. I says, no, you had to. Come on. You didn't date a girl named Yolanda? No.
It was already written.
Yeah, it was already written. It was a classical. It was just something that, at the right time. See, that's the hardest thing to find is a song that's going to hit all over. Or a song that's going to really hit people in the heart. Or the song that's going to make the people hear it and listen to it and say, man, I just want to hear it again. And when they hear it, we wanted them to remember what we did on stage. And what is that? When you do a dancing to it, you're going to love it. Because now you added more to not just hearing the song, but you also remember, God, man, he danced here, he did this step here, whatever he did here. You see, there's more to the song now. It's not just listening to it, but it's enjoying everything else that comes along with the song that's hard to do, you know, to make people still want to hear that song and still request it. Those are my still, I don't care what night, where I play, still most requested songs.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one, me personally, that I love to watch the people sing. Or not even the people. I like to see the dudes. And then I like to see the reaction.
Like Ex-Novia.
Ex-Novia, dude.
No.
Hey, dude. You cannot not sing that song. No matter where you're. Ex-Novia.
I know.
Todavía te, like,
you know
dude,
what the hardest thing is to be asked to sing that at their wedding. And they'll ask me, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Did you ask the bride to go? They're the one that wants to hear it. What? Are you serious? And some of them, they were ex-novias to each other. You know, they broke up, got together.
They got back together.
And I understand that. I'm thinking, but to hear that every time at a wedding, I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Hey, but that song has like you can, like, it's one of those songs that you can feel, bro.
But you know, when they brought the song to me and I asked about it, and I thought, you know, wow, this is going to touch a lot of people. I understand. I never thought about how it was going to touch me. I never thought about, my ex-novia is going to come out and looking for me. I never thought about that, because when you do a song, you always want to record something. What are the people going to feel? What are they going to think? What's going to go through their minds? But yeah, I had a couple of my ex-girlfriends looking, when I was playing it, looking, smiling, showing up. And
you're singing it for me, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, I'm really not. I'm singing it because it's going to get me sold a lot of records. That's why I'm singing it.
I'm getting paid tonight to go eat. But,
can you jam that one?
Sure. It's one of my favorites, too. My favorite songs. And every time I sing it, it's a different passion. It's not because of the lyrics. It's because of the melody, you know?
Yes.
It's
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
The melody lets me sing. It's not about me playing the most. It's about experiencing with the voice. And that song gave me that opportunity to say, wow, I finally get to sing a song where I'm not dancing so crazy and I'll run out of breath.
Your voice, yeah.
Yeah,
So all the women watching, if your husbands are watching, you're watching with your husbands or your boyfriends, and they start singing along, don't hit them in the rib cage, okay? We like it because we like the melody.
There you go.
Jaime just called it. So right here, Ex-Novia, Jaime DeAnda.
Nunca pensé al separarme de ti que iba a extrañar, y nunca pensé que iba a sufrir tanto así. Hoy me doy cuenta que sin ti no puedo vivir, no puedo, exnovia, todavía te quiero, todavía te amo, con todo mi corazón, exnovia. Ven aquí conmigo, pues te necesito. Regresa a mí, por favor, exnovia. That's one of my other songs too, man. But
hey, that one really compliments your voice, man. It really does. I think like I said, that's a song that I hear, man, and it gives me the chills, because like it just takes you back to a time, when to me, me personally speaking, life was simple, man. You know, we were talking right before we came on the air about, you know, me going to go see. You said the El Dorado Convention Center.
El Dorado, yeah.
The El Dorado in Beeville, man, was just legendary. You know, all the big name artists came in. Excuse me. And I remember sitting there starching my pants, right, with the phone still. You remember the phone was still connected to the wall, and you're talking to the girl, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to this dance. I'm gonna go see La Fiebre. I'm gonna go see Jaime, La Mafia, whoever, right?" And that's just that nostalgia comes back to me of getting myself ready, getting me and going to Wieners. You remember Wieners? Going to Wieners.
Remember Globes? Oh, yeah.
Solo serve, you know. So I remember going and getting a new shirt, and my mom would starch it up for me because I couldn't do shirts back then. I can now, but you know, I would get all cleaned up, man. And then my dad would say, "Hey, pues, where are you going?" I mean, I'm 11, 12, 13 years old, Jaime. Wow. Well, I mean, where are you going? I said, well, Jaime DeAnda, Jaime Los Chamacos, they're playing at El Dorado. You got a ticket? And I'm like, oh, no, I was hoping you could let me borrow. It's pre-sale. It's pre-sale. They got pre-sale for 15. And dude, $15 in the 90s for a young, that was a lot of money. Yes, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I remember going to CBS. Shout out to CBS grocery store there in Beeville. Chales in the corner on the west side of Beeville. And he'd always have all the pre-sale tickets. And every now and then he knew that I wanted to go. And even if I didn't have all the money, right, I'd have the $10 and he'd give me the extra $5, and you know, he'd give me my ticket.
Those days,
that was the easy part. Man. That was the hard part was getting a ride there, bro. Because
you didn't even have a ride yet.
Well, no, because my parents didn't go to bailes like that. My dad really wasn't a person to dance. My mom, yes, but my mom wouldn't go to bailes because my dad wasn't going right. Yeah. But you know, I'd have my clothes, I have my ticket, but then I would be like, hey, how am I gonna get there? And every now and then I would get my mom to drop me off, and it was always like, I mean, you think about it nowadays, no cell phones, right? Pay phones, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They drop you off and be like, hey, mijo, you got to find a ride home. I'll run into one of my friends. Like, everybody's got to come back. You know, in El Dorado, you got to come back into Beeville. So I used to live right there in that neighborhood. And so, you know, there's just the nostalgia of just that you're next to me, and the fact that I used to work my butt off taking bottles out of people's trash to get the deposits back.
Yeah,
right, to get that.
Turn it in. Nickel or 10 cents, whatever you get.
Yeah, bro. So you know what I mean? Wow. I would just do that, and it would be like 2 or 3 weeks. Jaime's picture would be there on the wall. Every time you go into the store, the old school black and white posters. Hey, at the El Dorado.
Yeah.
You get your pre-sale because it's going to be $25 at the door. God dang, $25 at the door. And I would get there, and then I would, you know, there was really not that many kids my age. Yeah. Like, that's how much I loved the music. People used to, do you know Fernando Muñeco?
Of course.
Hernandez? Okay.
Yeah.
So back in the day, he's one of my best friends growing up. And one day I was walking around with a Walkman, and I was listening to Tu y Solo Tu from La Mafia. And it was a yellow bone color tape, right? I got a whole bunch of them down there underneath the desk, honestly. Yeah. And so he's like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, check it out. And he's like, bro, you listen to that? I'm like, there's nothing else to listen to. I listened to hip hop and all the other stuff, you know, growing up, but that was my love. I really loved it. But going to the bailes, bro, to see you guys meant so much, and that's really why I love the music, and it's so nostalgic that you're here next to me in my house. You know what I mean? Chilling out with me, talking about whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
History.
I mean, do you, again, going on a whole nother tangent, can you remember the biggest crowd that you ever played for?
Sure.
And where it was?
Sure. This was back, I was in Chicago. There was a fiesta called Fiesta del Sol. Okay?
In Chicago?
Fiesta del Sol in Chicago. For everybody out in the Windy City, man, that crowd was 80,000 people. Huge.
In Chicago, bro?
Yeah. And it was, at the time, it was us against La Sombra, Mr. Tony.
Oh, so you're playing against the hometown Windy City boys?
Yes, Texas against Chicago.
Chicago, in their hometown, their hometown.
And believe me, there were 8 guys, and he remembers there were 8 guys, but we gave him our money to run. We gave him a challenge because we were just 4 guys, and it was fun.
So did you do it old school? Like, was there 2 stages, or y'all played and then they played? 2 stages. So y'all would play a song, they'd play a song, or how?
Well, they did like 30 minutes. We did 30 minutes. They did 30 minutes, back and forth and stuff. But the crowd went crazy. They had that was their territory. But
80,000.
Yeah, you could tell. You could see. I mean, just God, it was tremendously.
What makes you more nervous? Playing for 80,000 people or playing for 100 people?
To me, it's the same. Just getting on stage, I'll be nervous.
You still get nervous to this day?
Sure. You know why? Because you're hoping that things go right, number one. You're hoping you don't have a problem with your instrument or a microphone go off or wireless, something happens, or ground noise, or you don't forget the lyrics or play the wrong melody or be in the wrong key. And then, you think about all those things because
that's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shit to think about.
You take off in the wrong key of the accordion and you're looking at it, hey, what are you guys thinking? And they're looking at you, but you're not in the right key. I'm like, what? Oh, shoot, because you got to switch accordions back and forth, and you're thinking, and you got all this hype in the crowd already, and it's a lot of tension on stage. It is. And I think that's the most wonderful part about being a musician. It's still having that, wow, that energy, but that excitement of saying, okay, you get butterflies. And my hands will start sweating. And one of my things, my wife knows, I'll start yawning. I don't know why. Right before
if he gets
stage,
nervous?
Yeah, I'll start yawning. It's crazy. That's one of my signs of saying.
So when I go see you, I want to be in the crowd, be like, "Why are you yawning, Jaime?"
But those are little signs to realize it. But you gotta have that. You gotta have that feeling to still be excited about going on stage. That's when you still care about going up there. And the hardest thing is pleasing your fans. Do what you can do best. And all in all, I know that I do want to share a lot of things to my fans, my new fans, and of course all my old school fans about what's happened with the breakup and stuff. Because a lot of fans don't know everything, what happened, how it happened, what's going on, the changes of what's happening to me going as a solo artist, and how things have changed during the time. And I had the opportunity of my manager, Mr. Julian Johnson, now that he's. I've known him since he was a kid too, but I grew up with his family because he's from los paisanos de Chalito Johnson, you see. So back in the days, I grew up with his dad and all his family, and they were singers. Yeah, so he knows about a lot of history. He had the opportunity of going into the entertainment field, of being with Universal Records and being with rock bands and all these things that he got to study. And it's funny that when I was going through these changes of the guys my last guys that I was with from back then, I can just say that it's crazy that I started now analyzing. When you're in the circle, you don't know what's going on because you're involved. When you're out of the circle and you start looking at what was going on, you start looking at the things you've done, I started realizing that, it was becoming a routine, with these guys. And I was with them 25, 30 years.
Some of those guys, I think you were almost 30 years, if not more.
Yeah, exactly. And we were together for so long, and sure, it was hard for fans to see that happen. And you grow up with bands and you think that they're gonna be forever. And sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't. But for the right or wrong reason, it happens for a reason. And I just wanted to say that when I got out of the circle and started looking at things and looking at how I was and playing, it was slowing down. It was like a routine. I started seeing that, our show wasn't as active. It was getting clock in, clock out. Just okay. We hardly practiced. We hardly did a lot of stuff. Like the hunger was not there anymore.
It was just a job.
Yeah, you see, it was becoming a job at the same time. And when I did this, for the right reasons or whatever, it's still going on. Of course, courts are pending and things to get clarified because the name was my family tradition name, and for reasons that what we did. And for changes that, when you got a band that's supposed to be behind you 100% and decide to think, no, well, now it can go our way or now he needs us or, now it's us 4 against him or, money is evil in a sense, of course. Money takes over. Now it's not about, the hunger, about the music, really, about the fans. It's about numbers. I'm sure it would always be about numbers. We know that. But
Yeah.
what's the main thing behind it is, I see that. And with the breakup going on and everything changing, and my manager telling me, look at your stuff. Listen, look at the years, the difference and the changes. And look at the lately, how it was and how your bands are. You probably see one of my guys back then chewing gum all the time and or not dancing or sometimes. Or I always knew that I had to give 100%. Because it was my name, it was my reputation out there. And to get higher, you never know who's watching you when you're performing. And it's always, someone's going to be out there, might want an anniversary, a wedding, quinceañera, whatever. And it's true. I don't care what the quinceañeras think, or, they might say, well, I'm sure one of them could say, shoot, I wish I had Justin Bieber here playing, for example, and the parents and them would say, well, yeah, well, I'm sorry, we can't afford him, but we can afford Jaime, So, but you got to give them that music. See, you got to feed to the grandma, to the older people, because they're the one that's going to take it serious. They're the one that's going to hire you.
Yes.
Of course,
they're the ones that are going to pay it.
Yeah, sure. So, but again, looking at my outside the circle and looking at my shows and stuff. Yeah, I was noticing that, the fans are not getting totally 100% from me and the band. And with this changing going on and seeing everything, and the guys that I have now, these guys are talented. These guys, I mean, they're first of all, they're fans. That's what's cool. Ted on bajo, he's from Robstown, Villalobos, and of course Carlos Gonzalez, he's from the Bad Boys, and I have Jorge, he's the drummer with us. He was from Signo and stuff. These guys loved being on stage. They love it. They give it 100%. They give it 125, 150, and that's what we need. That's what I want.
That's what drives you.
Yeah, that's what gives me that extra, like, what the heck? This is what I've been wanting. And the fans are like, oh, wow, he's bringing back the old school stuff, the hardcore, the
dancing around,
the
jumping
energy.
around.
Yeah, that's excitement.
I would say, Jaime, like, again, this is like a fly on the wall outside looking in. You say that, but then, there'll be people who say, well, if maybe one person went with him and took off, but when everybody turned their back on him, well, then he must have been the problem.
Right.
And I'm sure you understand that that's the way people look at it, right?
Right. Sure.
Because it's you against everybody else.
Right.
And I wasn't going to bring this in the show, but I know you carry a lot of stuff on your shoulders, and the public, they watch, they see. You're exactly right. They see everything that's going on, and sometimes when you hear it from you, other than reading it or just assuming, right, by a little post here and there, post there, little rib check here, rib check there, right? Hearing it from you, it clears it up. I know one of the number one questions they already asked right here: did he ever find his accordions?
Man, that's what's so crazy. Fans, honestly, no. They're still out there somewhere,
bro. And that's crazy because those are yours. Like, if anybody that knows the music, as soon as somebody opens up, like, yo, dude, where did you get that from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's probably I'm thinking it's some dude with a lot of money who paid a lot of money for it. And when people come over and they'll be like, yo, you have that missing accordion? Yeah, right. Yeah, don't tell nobody it's sitting right. It's right here on the shelf collecting dust, right? You know what I'm saying? But no, Jaime, I'm glad you're talking about it because some people they need to hear it. They need to hear it from you, and every story has two sides, and you got to be open to that, right? Every story has two sides, and
people can they can think what they want to think. We can't stop that. We understand.
Yeah.
But it's us. It's you as a person. What did you go through? What did you sacrifice? And people can say, they're going to have their family and friends and saying all kinds of things and thinking, well, he was this person, or he didn't take care of him. How can that be true if I didn't do what I did? Because if I didn't do a good job, why would I be around 25, 30 years?
Yeah, you can look at it like that.
If you look at it that way, I mean, I did my job. I took care of, okay. If you get into a situation, what company doesn't get into a situation where you fall into a debt or you fall behind because you're taking care of your employees first, because you're taking care of what's important to your company first before you take care of yourself. If I took care of myself first, I'd be driving around in a Bentley or something, a Mercedes, and,
right.
in a big mansion house and this and that. Well, that's not it, Of course, It's about taking care of your family, sure. Taking care of your company, because your company is what's going to keep you going.
Going to keep
Put
food on the table.
Of course, you know. And you went into a situation where, things got technical. Things got out of hand. Like every band. I mean, what bands out there have not made it together today?
Bro, I mean, you look at Motley Crue, look at Van Halen, look at, you know what I mean?
Big
They
numbers.
change front names, you know, all the time. And, you know, David Lee Roth, he went out and did his thing.
Right.
So now, Jaime, with that behind you, with Jaime y los Chamacos behind you, it's in the rearview mirror now, right?
Yeah.
My show is really, again, not just about artists. It's about moving forward. Everybody has a different path in life, and some people's path are straight and narrow, and they're on it. And, you know, they're always going forward. There's some people like me and you that we do figure eights, we go backwards, but the bottom line is that you're still putting one foot in front of the other. You might be walking backwards, but that path's going to find a way to lead you back, going the direction you need to go to. And that's what I really like about the show. I really like just people to know that, you know, everybody has issues. I mean, you got Jaime DeAnda on here, a legend. Like, if you guys don't know music, just Google him. Google Jaime DeAnda, and you're gonna be amazed on what you see.
I was amazed too to see that too. My wife told me, she said, "Put your name in there." She said, "Look, no matter what you say or whatever, anybody just put your name in there, and you'll
Right.
see what pops up." In so many years of history, you know what you've done, you know your legacy and stuff, and still going on, moving forward. The only thing I ask all my fans and friends out there to realize, you know, not everyone is perfect. We know that for sure. Not everyone can walk like Jesus did and did what he did. That's why we try to follow his path, which is hard to do for all of us. We know that.
Right.
And then being in this kind of field, in the music field, hey, it's a fast lane. You can be somebody today and you're gone tomorrow. Or you can continue to be somebody in the right path. And to continue is the hardest thing, is to get the fans to still realize, hey, look at me as what I do and what I love about music for you to hear, to enjoy. Don't look at the person for who they are or what they've done and how they are. Because if you're going to judge a person like that, that's up to the man upstairs, not everybody else. Because we all do what we do. If anybody that loves music, you're going to feel that heart on stage, what he's doing. Because when you hear it, and when someone's on stage and it gives you chills again, that tells you, wow, that's a powerful sound, a powerful person talking, and you feel his vibe coming out of him.
Hell yeah. It's all about the vibes, bro.
Man,
it's all about the vibes.
And it's hard to continue to have that, you know? So my fans today, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the respect of giving me that chance again to go on forward. And those that are, hey, I'm sorry, but we're going to always have our haters out there, our negative people out there that you want to bring you down. And then you have fans out there that tell you, oh, well, you know, you should go back to where you were, or they like to tell you what to do with your life. I mean, you know, you always have those people that they know better, but what about them?
But you've been in the business too long to let that bother you. You got to know that comes with
the territory.
The business.
So I do appreciate saying to all my fans out there, thank you. I am a solo artist now at Jaime DeAnda, JDA. I do everything I can because I love music from my heart and from all the years that I've grown up. And that's why I appreciate the staff I have today. You know, my wife being part of my team here, Mr. Julian Johnson having faith in me, indie music, the record labels that we're going through, and it's helping out and supporting me, and you know, my new songs and producers. I get to be me now. I get to really go in the studio and experience things that sometimes I didn't have that freedom to do.
Wait, but and we're coming to the end of the show. Dude, that's like a whole another Pandora box. Like, to me, it's hard for me to believe that you wouldn't have that control. I mean, you're the front man. So you automatically assume that since you're the front man, that what you say is going to go. But what you're saying, that's not true. Like, you know, but it's if you think about it, that's a good thing because everybody kept everybody in check, right? Everybody was a significant piece of the puzzle, right? Who made Jaime y los Chamacos. But now that you're on your own, I could see that, like, you know what I mean? Now you're definitely a legend in the music industry. You get to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and there's nobody there saying, "Nah, chale, we're not going to do that."
And that's even another tough challenge to do because, you know, when people say, "Hey, when are you going to come out with some new music? You know, when are you going to, you know, you do the old stuff, but people, what do they always ask for? The old stuff when they see you perform. Now, when, like you said too earlier, when you come up with your new music, what do they say? Oh, man, he done changed his style. Oh, that's not him the same no more. Yeah, but I mean, you come up with one song and they think that's it. Well, you want it different.
Yeah.
I want to explore. I want to try something different. I want to feel like, wow, I got to do that. I got to do a different feel. I got to be me, myself. I got to, experience it and go out there and let the people again listen to me. Either I'm going to get more and new fans, or I'm going to get those that say, it's not Jaime no more. It's just a song. It's not,
He's still playing the old songs, bro. He's still playing the old songs, man.
I love the old school stuff.
So Jaime, that you left the Chamacos, right? People are asking what happened. That's for a whole nother show. We don't got. But I'm just glad that you have the, and it's not even you having. That's not a good way to put it. But for you to bring it up, and so that your fans know, like, hey, man, I know that you guys know that I'm not with Chamacos no more. I'm JDA, Jaime DeAnda, starting my own thing, and that's cool. And I really respect that in the sense that, what I'm saying, you're respectful about it. I haven't heard you say one bad thing about anybody. Now, when doors close, that's a different thing. You know what I mean? But publicly, and I really follow the news, I follow different media outlets. I've never really heard you say anything negative in a sense where you'd be like, damn, bro, really? Like, I haven't. You know what I mean? I've seen that you've come out a few times on Facebook. You've made a few videos trying to clear the air. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I always hear you say, you know what? I wish them the best.
And that's the hardest thing to keep is when, is to keep your mouth shut, really. At the beginning, when it first all happened, man, believe me, I thought, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I used to get angry and think, man, I want to go in there and just let the people know.
Every comment you want to respond to every comment.
Of course. I'm human like anyone else. I hurt like anyone else. I mean, come on. You're not going to tell me, sure, words don't hurt. If they don't, how come sometimes you can get in jail if you say the wrong word on an airplane? Okay. So that means words do count. Yeah. And not only that, how come bullies, what they do to kids, why do they commit suicide, some of them? Then that means, again, words sometimes do affect others, No. So, yeah, we're all human. Yeah, we get angry. Yeah, we get upset. But sometimes they say it's best to not say anything. It's when to say or wait till the right time to say. And you're sitting there like, really? Okay, And fans, and, my wife tells me too, wait, you have fans out there. Let them defend you. Because that'd probably be the best thing to hear and to see who's still supporting you.
That's right.
Like, but I'm thinking, but what if they don't say what I want to say?
No. But Jaime, that's being human, bro. You're being human. I always go back to the kid that I've been following here in the last few weeks, Lucky J. Like, he's 16 years old, bro, and he has a love for music in general, like all music, right? Yeah. And he'll get 1,000 people to hear him play your music, the whole Ondas music. Yeah. And the crazy part about it is that when he plays the music, they'll have somebody be like, you play the same they give a bad comment. Yeah. But and at first he used to get upset. I'd say, you know what, just his parents tell him, just forget it, dude. You're too good to let one person. And dude, sure enough, his people go on there and be like, boom, 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 and then that guy disappears.
And that's what I wanted to say also. Thank you to my fans, which, my wife and my manager, everybody says, it's our department, do this stuff like that. It's true. But sometimes, I just want to say a few little things, let them know that, you know what, you did touch. It's like touching me. Okay, so what? I'm not human? Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, come on. But within limits, but it's true. I want to thank my fans out there that do defend me, that are supporting me, that are giving me that respect again, that are making me feel like, hey, Jaime, you're not alone. We're here. That's the best feeling to have.
That's, dude. You're so down. You're so down to earth, bro. Like, really, like, so many people that I've been interviewing lately. Like, you just think that they have these big heads, and they're just walking around like, hey, don't bother me. You know what I mean? And you're really not, bro. Like, literally, from the first time that we had a conversation, we talked 45 minutes.
That's right.
And Jaime was like, shit, that's half the show that you're talking about, bro. We just did half the show. Yeah. Just BSing, right? Because, you know, that's how it goes. And Jaime, I wanted you to play one more. Sure. One more. We got time for one more. If you could play, I don't know if you could play it and sing it, but my favorite song, of course, is a classic. Is mi música favorita, right?
That's a 8-minute one.
No. Well,
I can play it for someone.
You know what I mean? Maybe you skip one verse or whatever. But no, dude, that song really. I told Michael this, and I'm going to tell you this as well. And I'm sure you've heard it because you said your brother was in the army or whatever. Not whatever, but you know that your brother was in the army.
Yeah.
But one thing that I want to say, and just like I told Michael, you guys have no idea what your music does. And again, I'm speaking for me personally, what your music does for me personally in the years of being in the military. Serving in different countries, and most of the countries are shitty countries. I'll just throw that out there, right? Living in shitty conditions, and you just have a shitty day. And no reason to go into any detail, just a shitty day, right? You always know, and especially with technology, you always knew that you could go somewhere, crawl in a corner, put your headphones on.
That's crazy.
Right? And put on a Jaime song. And no matter how bad of a day, you lost a brother, you know what I mean? People friend, you know, your friend, one of your Marine, whatever the case is, right? You could sit down, you could pop in those headphones, you could play Como Te Llamas Paloma, Mi Música Favorita, right? Yolanda, Exnovia, all these jams. You can pop them in your ear, bro, and it takes you away from where you're at.
That's the power of music.
It took us from that bad day, even though we knew we weren't gonna get home. We couldn't smell home. We couldn't eat a carne guisada taco, barbacoa taco. We couldn't have menudo, tripas, big red. We couldn't have none of that. But at that moment in time, bro, you just need something in your mind to take you away from what happened. And the greatest thing about it, Jaime, is that it made me always remember that the world is spinning and that what we love is still at home and it's still there. Yeah, and that music took us back and it's brought us back. And I want to personally tell you, thank you for that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have people tell you in different ways, but that's the way I put it. That's the way I feel about music. It helped me get through some of the most difficult times of my whole life.
I've had a lot of fans that are in the service that would say that. And they would, at the beginning of the internet and all these things, that you got to really now, you know that your music can be worldwide heard.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can talk to people worldwide. And I'd get people from the service and they would tell me that thing, man. It almost made me want to cry to hear them say, wow, your music is, I'm glad I get to hear it. Right now I'm listening to it. Or things like that. And you think, man, I'm here. Yeah. I think you and each and every one of you, men and women, that take the courage to go and do what needs to be done to fight and defend our country, our home, our place where we all grew up. My highest respect, also my turn to say thank you guys, because each and every one of you guys, to take that risk, to take that challenge, to not even know what could happen, not even know if you'll come back or any situation or how you'll come back or what could happen, you know, and your families are back home. And to me, that's the most responsible and the highest, the hardest thing to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to serve our country. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make sure my family has freedom, has what they want to have in this country, and believe it. And I know a lot of them, and like yourself, and I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, my turn to say, thank you guys, men and women, each and every one of you.
Thank you for that.
Everybody that's out there, thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for letting us have this freedom for us to be the way we want to be at home and appreciate every day what we have here at home. That's what's special.
I'll change it because you're right. Mi música favorita is a long song, right? and I don't want you to sing 8 minutes of a song, right?
I could do Yolanda.
But Could you do Como te llamas Paloma?
There you go. That's a good
Okay,
one.
with that, before he sings it though, I just put this picture up because you heard him talking, right? And how proudful. Jaime's a very proud American. Like, this is Spanish music, yes, and we get a bad rap because it's Spanish. You're not American. We speak English here.
Oh my gosh, is
right?
that Spanish?
Yeah, you know what I mean. We get that, but take a look at this picture. Look at the accordion by his left foot. That is an accordion of the United States of America.
That's my first,
So-
and that's the first one built in the world.
That's the first accordion.
one.
So there you go.
I still have it.
A proud American right here. So with that being said, I'll say my goodbyes after the song. But here's one more song for everybody because he is here live in the studio. One of my favorites, and I'm sure it's one of your fans' favorites, Jaime. ¿Cómo te llamas, Paloma?
¿Cómo te llamas, Paloma? Qué bonitas son tus alas. Yo quiero volar contigo. No importa por dónde vayas. ¿Cómo te llamas, Paloma? Yo quisiera conocerte. Me enamoré de tus ojos. Me moriría yo sin verte. Quisiera ser como el gavilán que vuela libre en el cielo azul. Vente conmigo, paloma blanca, vente conmigo. One of my favorites too. I'll tell you this though, I just want to say one last thing to everyone out there. Thank you so much yourself, Mr. Bumper. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts, my feelings, my career, my life, and to say that one thing I will always admire and appreciate. Every time a fan, anyone that looks for me and asks for an autograph or want to take a picture, it is hard for me to ever say no. Because it's a beautiful feeling to have for someone to ask you for an autograph. I know I've gone through it myself with seeing other artists or other people that are, I ain't got time. You know what? Hey, no, you know, just sometimes I know we're in a rush and doing our things. The hardest thing is to neglect someone that really wants an autograph and appreciate you, what you do, and what you've given them. I've been this person that my wife knows that I never say no. Unless I really have to, or on this flight schedule, or something's going on. But
COVID-19.
Yeah, especially that right now. That's the toughest part. But you know, and it's hard because my wife knows that, and she's like, "It's okay, we need to go." You know, I said, "But you know, if it's a young kid, especially with the young kids, she will. She's like, you know what? No, go ahead, you need to. Yeah, but it's my greatest feeling to still.
Do you
be
hate
asked.
when you're eating? When you're eating, do y'all get bothered when you go to eat somewhere?
Yeah, you know, sometimes it happens, but you know what? I don't even think about it twice. I think about I'm glad to be, you know, recognized and you know, and I didn't know that one time they gave me the receipt that they want me to buy their meal. No, signed it. Oh, that's what I'm
he
signing.
got it. He signed it.
Yeah,
So,
but
hey,
thank you so much.
Jaime, thank you, man. Thank you so much, dude. I know it's 2 hours, bro, and it can seem like a long time, but it goes by really, really quick.
Sure did.
I want to tell the viewers, if you're watching on Jaime's behalf, I got a YouTube channel. It's called Bumper Gomez. It's right there, right here on the screen. You can see it right here on the screen. Go to it, like, subscribe, and share it. I'm trying to grow that channel so I can come off of Facebook and blow it up bigger on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed or shared my channel, please look it up. This show tonight will be tonight before I go to bed. It'll be posted on the channel, and you can share it, wherever you want. But Jaime, thank you so much, dude, because from the moment that I called you, you never made me feel lesser of a person than you, bro. Honestly, like anybody I've spoke to about this show, like all weekend, I was with Lucky J and Beeville, and he was at the party, man. He was like, yo, you got to watch Wacky Wednesday. This is before we moved it to Tuesday. You got to watch Wacky Wednesday. He's got JDA this weekend. He kept saying, and people were like, hey, people are coming up like, hey, bro, we really like the show. It's pretty cool. It's pretty original, pretty unique. But I hope to have you again, bro. I know here in the next few months, I think you and your wife's life are going to change. And I mean that in a good way, because, I know we look at it in a bad way that the governor opened up the state of Texas, but I really think that gigs are going to start coming. They're going to start coming and start flowing, and you guys are going to get back to normal, because I'm sure that that COVID wasn't good for the music business. I know it wasn't.
Yeah, that was hit the hardest for all of us and stuff. And hopefully, again, it's not only that we miss everything and this what's going on. We miss being on stage only. The lesson here really is to, hey, wake up. Let's be a lot, cleaner. Let's be careful. Let's realize, how we do touch so many things and how many passing germs around, and we don't even realize that we touch everything. We put our hands in our mouth, or a lot of times, and we wonder why we get sick ourselves. Back then, when we grew up, back then we drink water from the water hose. I mean, that was different. That was different. That was different. But today it is different. Today things are more contaminated, more. There's a lot of risk out there and stuff, and we forget about it, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt for us to say, you know what, hey, now it's our turn to wash our hands, to be careful,
and to be
wear
good
a mask, and to be good to one another and respect one another, and keep that that person of saying we're all the same. We're all human. We all want to.
We can all be touched, good and bad. We can all be touched for sure. Right. But again, Jaime, thank you so much. Thank you to your beautiful wife and your son here for hanging out. I know it's 2 hours of boredom if you're on the other end of the lights, right? But they were troopers, and they hung out here. Yeah. And before we get off, we just want to next week in the studio, I have none other than Cesar Martinez, the lead singer for David Lee Garza y Los Musicales.
He's from Robstown.
From Robe, that's right.
Yeah,
the pride of Robestown right there, right?
That's
the cotton pickers. So if you're tuning in next Wednesday, not on a Tuesday, right? Next Wednesday on Bumper's Wacky Wednesday, I'll have Cesar Martinez, lead singer for David Lee Garza y Los Musicales. And man, this guy, it's going to be a great interview. He's like you, man. He does all kinds of stuff, so it's pretty cool.
He is. You're very down to earth. I've met him several times. He's also a big fan of mine, and I appreciate it. And he's doing everything he does, and he's doing a great job and everything. But one last little thing. Thank you for making the change and rescheduling, because at first I thought, man, things happen for a reason, I guess, and so much going on with COVID and stuff and family things, and trying to get back on track and see family and this and that. And I thought, man, I don't want to ask him, but can we do it Tuesday? And I felt bad, not feeling like you said. Some artists say, hey, ¿sabes qué? No, we need to change the schedule. And
no, bro, that's what I mean. Like when you said, hey, I can't do it. I said, we can do it remotely if you want. I said, really not that. I mean, not that I knock them. It won't be the same. And then you were like, I said, you know what about Tuesday? And you're like, you know what? Then I'll call you. And he called me back in 30 seconds, like, hey, let's do it. We're good.
Yes.
So Jaime, again,
thank you.
Thank you so much, bro, for being you, bro. And I look forward, and the fans look forward to seeing you on the road and seeing the new JDA.
Yes.
And what you bring to the table. And with that being said, viewers, concert goers, people who pay money to go to a dance, check out the new shit, bro. Take it in, absorb it, and you never know, that might be your new favorite song.
Hey, but you know what? I'll tell you what. We just finished up. We just ramped up this new single that I got, Vuelve por favor. Well, we just did the video for it. It's my first official JDA Jaime DeAnda video. Check it out when it comes out. It's going to come out pretty soon because they're editing and doing all these stuff. And,
so pretty soon is up in the air, but it's soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Very soon than soon. So it could be sooner than,
I got you.
But as soon as it comes out, I just want to let the fans know that there is a video out on this song, Vuelve por favor. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. I mean, we did some work out there. You know, Gabe Zavala is a fantastic producer and director and writer and stuff. And I want to thank his wife also, Stephanie Montiel. She was the assistant. She did the makeup, the hair. She made me look like a model. You know what I'm saying? I didn't recognize myself at first. No, but you know, it's a good team. I want to thank my management also, Mr. Julian Johnson, for all the faith and trust and belief that he has in me to say, you know what, Jaime, this is just the beginning.
Hell yeah. So with that being said, Jaime, that means you can point Stephanie and her husband this way. Just tell them they gotta do the podcast, bro. They gotta do the podcast. So
let them know.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for another beautiful show. Jaime, thank you, beautiful wife. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. That was Bumper's Wacky Wednesday on a Tuesday, right? And look forward to next week. Cesar Martinez, lead singer of David Lee Garza Los Musicales. Y'all have a good week, and we'll see y'all next time.
And we're out.